Hi, this is Module 4.1, The Temptation of Jesus. What we shall do is PowerPoint presentation as we move onward to this lesson. The temptation of Jesus is recorded in Matthew chapter 4, verse 1 to 11. It says, "Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, 'If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become bread.' But he answered, 'It is written, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God.' Then the devil took him to the holy city, had him stand on the highest point of the temple, and said to him, 'If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and with their hands they will lift you up so that you will not strike your foot against the stone.'" Verse 7, Jesus said to him, "Once again it is written, you are not to put the Lord your God to the test." Again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their grandeur. And he said to him, "I will give you all these things if you throw yourself to the ground and worship me." Then Jesus said to him, "Go away, Satan, for it is written, you are to worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and angels came and began ministering to his needs. This is the record of Jesus' temptation as found in Matthew chapter 4, verse 1 to 11. So Jesus was tempted 3 times, and the temptations were the lust of the flesh, pride of life, and the lust of the eyes. Temptation aimed to mislead and change 3 main human characteristics: to think, wish, and feel. We are inside mind, soul, and heart. As Jesus mentioned in the greatest commandment, to love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your heart, with all your soul. His first temptation is about the temptation of the flesh, hedonism, the pursuit of pleasure. If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become bread. The devil starts by questioning Jesus' divinity, challenging him to prove his power by satisfying his hunger. After 40 days without food, Jesus was hungry, and the devil tempted Jesus with the first thing on Jesus' mind: food, the lust of the body. Jesus responded, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." He was actually quoting Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1 to 3. Indeed, all of us lives to satisfy ourselves, our earthly appetites. Each and every one has its own earthly appetites and desires. We seek to put food on the table, roof over our heads, and make something for ourselves. But obedience to God is at the very bottom of our list of things to do. Damo kita sa mga bagay ang gusto brown sa aton kagalingon. We want many things to achieve in life. Sad to say, God is the very least ng sinang mga butang ang gusto natin ma-achieve. Jesus sought the will of the Father. That is His food, His heavenly appetite. This was what Jesus was actually hungry for, God's words. As a reflection for us Christians today, as we continue to move onwards in our lives, we have big dreams, big desires. We also have needs. But the question is, are these needs, desires, be the one that should drive our life's direction? Should it be our cause for doing things, or it should be God's words? The second temptation of Jesus was actually about egoism. It comes from the Latin word ego, which means self-importance, self-worth. "If you are the Son of God," the devil said, "throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against the stone." The devil takes Jesus to the top of the temple of Jerusalem and quotes Psalm chapter 91, verse 11 to 12, challenging him again to prove his divinity and test God by jumping off the top. An ultimatum to force Jesus to prove himself. If you are truly the Messiah, God will protect you with angels, and you will know he is with you. But if you are wrong, then you will die in your folly and escape his path. He is leading you to. Jesus understands that we are to serve God only. It all goes back to the will of God. It is not about what we want, but what God wants. By having the ability to control God, one would never have great power. But Jesus humbles himself and denounces Satan's temptation. Jesus said, "It is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Jesus quoted actually Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 16. When the Israelites complained to Moses about taking them out of the desert, saying, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt to make us and our children and livestock die of thirst?" By complaining, they displayed their lack of faith in God and demanded for proof. Many of us today want God us to give a sign, answer our prayers, or ask God to prove himself by some miracle before we will have our faith in him. Faith alone in the promise of God is not enough for us, so we test God. Egoism, or the pride of life, is one of the greatest folly of man. Are we like the common man, so governed by the pride of life, waiting for that divine miracle to happen before we put our faith to God? Jesus, he had faith to God the Father. He alone uh, stood fast to the promise of God in his life and followed his will. Lastly, the third temptation is materialism, concerned over material possession and wealth. "All this I will give you," the devil said, "if you will bow down and worship me." The devil takes even higher to the top of the mountain to show Jesus what earth could offer. This temptation was the biggest one of all. The offer to be like God. They can have wealth, possession, glory, power. But what is the cost of having those? Jesus rebukes his final offer, calling him out by name. "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." As Christians, we reject Satan. How many reject Satan out of our lives? But how many of us work to get what Satan offers? Money, recognition, authority, glory, and passion. Jesus himself said, "You cannot serve both God and mammon. For what will it profit a man if he gains the world and forfeits his soul?" And in Exodus chapter 20, God himself said, "You shall have no other gods before me." The devil finally left after this. There was nothing else he could offer. He had offered Jesus everything, and Jesus turned him down. The temptations of Jesus are the same temptation we face every day. Seeking to satisfy ourselves instead of God, manipulating God to attain our goals or power or glory, and to be as God.